Hey everyone. So this is kind of a difficult reading this week, and so I just wanted to quickly introduce it again through one of these videos, so that way it will hopefully orient you a little bit better to the Mitchell and Reed Walsh article. Well, it's not really an article; it's the first chapter of their book, and the title is "Political Spaces: Context for Researching Children's Popular Culture." So you'll know from the title alone that this article is primarily going to be about researching children's popular culture. It's not about children's popular culture per se, but it's the ways in which we think about it, the ways in which we study it and try to understand it. So what this article is going to be about, sort of like the other two articles this week will be about, is the assumptions that we make about children's popular culture, the things we take for granted, the things we assume to be true, the values that we attach to it. And so throughout this article, they're really calling attention to this. It's like we need to think much more critically about the role of the researcher, the person who's doing the researcher, or the person who's doing the studying, and their own thoughts and biases that they might bring to this. So she opens up by thinking about Barbie. Is Barbie a liberator? Or is Barbie something that's really, really bad? And so here's where she establishes the Kairos. She talks about a bunch of different toys. Barbie, Mortal Kombat, Cabbage Patch Kids, etc., etc. And she's talking about whether or not they're valuable. What good do they have? Do they teach kids, good habits, or do they just spoil them? Are they things of no apparent, she says, of no apparent value? So hardly something worth talking about. So here's where she jumps into her introduction, or her thesis, right here. We are interested in the relationship between the status of children's popular culture and the status of childhood. It is a relationship as well that we argue throughout the book that is at one and the same time both vexing as well as rich in terms of what it can illuminate about childhood itself. So what I want you to think about in particular for class is, what do you think she means by the status of childhood popular culture and the status of childhood? And what do you think that relationship is? As she sort of articulates it here. And then she has some examples of Seth, and she talks about her intentions, what their goal is. And she says that their goal is to create a decolonizing space. I'm putting air quotes around decolonizing because it's what she says. You just can't see it. For engaging in research on children's popular culture. So I want you to read this part really, really carefully, and I want you to try to see if you can figure out what she means by decolonizing space and what you think decolonizing research on children's popular culture would look like. As you read, I want you to read this paragraph here really carefully, the one that starts, "Thus, in the first chapter, we are interested in questions that arise out of the decision to see the space as political instead of merely neutral." Because here's where she outlines exactly what she's going to do. First, we will do this, then we will do this, finally, we will do this. And by reading this will give you a good sense of the maneuvers that she's going to make throughout this essay. I like to call this a roadmap paragraph, and I think that they're super crucial and user-friendly. So here she's going to talk about mapping the critical spaces of popular culture. And as you see here, she notes that it'll be talking about the quote, the critical space of children's popular culture, noting the critical reception to children's popular culture, as well as the underpinnings of what we perceive to be blah, 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 junk food. So this section is really long, and most of it isn't super helpful. So I just really want you to focus on the first paragraph, really, and try to see what you think of it. What you think her point is trying to be when she says that popular culture exists within high culture or inside high culture, what she means by when she talks about them as nesting dolls. How do you see that operating? And do you think that's true? Can you think of examples from your life where popular culture exists within high culture? And I mean, the obvious example is, and this is a joke. No, I shouldn't tell you it's a joke, but I was going to make a joke about Lady Gaga, but now I've ruined it by setting it up and telling you it's a joke. So never mind, I've ruined it. But yeah, thinking about the ways in which popular culture and high culture exist inside each other. Do you agree? Do you think that that works? Can you think of examples from your life? Do you think that that matters? And then I think that this idea is really cool. she sort of buries it, so I'm going to call attention to it and see what you thought when she talks about popular culture existing as a pocket of resistance for kids. When they like sneak toys into places where they're not supposed to sneak toys, like it's a way of asserting power. I think it's a cute idea. I'm just curious if you overall agree with the way in which they are politicizing these acts. That we might see as just neutral or not that important, but for kids or maybe, their whole world. I don't know. It's interesting. It's food for thought. Get it? Because it's junk food. I'm super funny. Okay. But yeah, I don't really care if you pay close attention to this. A lot of this is going to be examples. What I do care about is if you maybe pay attention to this green thing here, because she talks about the significance, what their goals are. And she connects it back to our old friend, Henry Jenkins. So check this part out on page 18. The page numbers are sort of blurred. Sorry. But it's on page 19, right? Oh no, page 20 that I really want you all to start paying attention. And this is the part of the essay that I really want you to focus on, is popular culture is junk food. It's a metaphor that she uses throughout where she's comparing children's culture to junk food. And she says that it, like something that's not good for you, but that you really, really want. And then she has 4 different components of it. Junk food as resistance, popular culture being of no apparent value, that it's classed in particular ways, and finally, that it's just ephemeral, that it doesn't last for a very long time. So I want you to read these couple pages really, really closely, and then in class we're going to talk mostly about what you took these to mean, how you understood these different concepts working, and if you could think of examples for them. So yeah, dig deep into this, and then if you have any questions, let me know or bring them to class. But yeah, these are the crucial pages, I think. Anyway, have a good one. Bye.